And this is my biofuels video project over bioethanol from corn. All biofuels are made from living things. A biofuel is a fuel that is produced over a short span of time from biomass. Ethanol is a biofuel that powers cars, trucks, and certain equipment, and it is very important to our society. It is a biofuel that is made from plants, most commonly corn. This means that ethanol is very sustainable because corn can be continuously grown to create more ethanol. It is also very eco-friendly and reduces pollution. The U.S. is the largest producer of corn ethanol, accounting for approximately 55% of global production as of 2021. Corn ethanol is the most abundant biofuel in the United States. So how is this biofuel produced? Well, it starts with the production of corn. Corn is grown in large quantities and it is then harvested in the late summer or early fall by specialized machines called combines that pick and shell the corn kernels from the cobs. The harvested corn is dried and stored in silos. Dried kernels are transported by truck or railed to ethanol refineries. At the refinery, the kernels are ground up and processed to separate starch, the main ingredient in ethanol production. How it is made. Dry milling is a process that grinds corn into flour and ferments it into ethanol with co-products of distillers, grains, and carbon dioxide. This is the most common way that ethanol is made, and there are 6 steps to this process. First is milling. This is where the corn kernels are ground into a fine powder or corn flour. The corn flour is then mixed with water to form a slurry which can be pumped through the plant. Next is liquefaction. This is when the enzyme is added to liquefy the starches and start the starch to sugar conversion process. Next is saccharification. This is done to break down the starches from the corn into sugars. This is done with the help of different enzymes to break down the starch into a simple sugar or dextrose. Next, we have fermentation. This is done with yeast, and the yeast consumes the dextrose into the corn slurry solution and produces ethanol and carbon dioxide. Next, we have distillation and dehydration. These 2 ethanol production steps begin with heating the solution until vaporization. The ethanol boils at a lower temperature than water, which allows ethanol and water particles to be separated by boiling. Dehydration is used to remove any remaining water and purify the ethanol. Finally, we have denaturation. This is when ethanol is mixed with natural gasoline. The impact that this biofuel has on everything in our country uh, is very big. Um, this so this as for the status on this biofuel, it is fully developed and widely available to everyone across the U.S. today. Corn ethanol has been largely produced since 2000, and it is considered a first-generation biofuel. There are economic, agricultural, and industrial systems that support the production of corn ethanol. As for its carbon footprint, corn ethanol has a much lower carbon footprint than gasoline. And when you look at the full life cycle, corn ethanol has about a 40 to 50% lower carbon footprint than gasoline. And with new technologies, the industry expects to reach new net zero emissions within the next decades. And it also has a major impact on our economy. Corn ethanol has a significant economic impact in that it supports hundreds of thousands of jobs, strengthens rural economies, reduces oil imports, lowers fuel costs, and generates major tax revenue, though it also raises concerns about food prices and reliance on government policy. So the future of this biofuel, um, there are many efforts to improve public knowledge about what ethanol is, why it's blended into gasoline, and how higher blends like E15 or E85, as compared to E10, can be used safely, such as pump labelings. And overall communication efforts focus on educating drivers about environmental benefits, fuel compatibility, and cost savings. And I recommend to continue expanding ethanol use because the data, especially E15, E85, because data shows that ethanol is significantly cleaner than gasoline. And if funding were unlimited, the next steps would be building carbon neutral ethanol plants, promoting climate starting farming, um, and just overall expanding to improve public understanding and adoption. This is my sources. Thank you so much.